What's good, YouTube? Have you ever gone saltwater fishing and not caught anything? Well, today I'm going to show you how. Alright guys, so in today's video, I was fishing in Titusville with my dad and his friend, and we were using live shrimp, and we were catching silver sand trout, put it that way. There's also a couple of catfish involved, maybe some mangrove snapper, and I think speckled trout as well, but the sand trout were loaded in that spot, and we were catching like 100 of them. Almost literally every cast you're getting a bite with the shrimp. So live shrimp is the key to catch fish inshore. You can catch it on another bait, but live shrimp is probably the best, if one of the best, if not the best. You can catch anything on live shrimp. It's just goated, put it that way. So I'm gonna show you guys how I rig my shrimp. There's different methods you can use. You can use a popper, you can use a free line, or you can use a weighted rig, so you can do like a Carolina or a knocker rig, depending on the weather, the current, wind, etc., etc. Also the type of species you're catching. So today, in today's video, I was mainly using a knocker rig or free line. Alright guys, so right here, this is your basic popping cork. As you can see, I had to try and focus it. There you go. So, as you can see, there's your cork. It has a wire through it. You have a couple beads and whatnot to make a little bit more rattle. You have your swivel, where you attach your main line to. And then on the bottom side, there's a weight, a couple more beads, and another swivel. This bottom swivel is where you tie a leader to, and then your hook. So super basic rig. All you gotta do is tie your main line to the top swivel, come down, grab your leader, whatever you're using as your leader, 20 pound mono is what I think I was using that day, or 25. Tie that down to your bottom side, and then probably 1.5 feet, 2 feet, depending on the depth. There it was around 4 to 5 feet maybe, and I had around 1 foot to 2 feet, 1 feet to 2 feet leader, and then my hook. So that's your basic popping rig. Then, I forgot to mention this earlier, but you can also rig your shrimp on a jig head. There you go, basic jig head. This jig head in particular is a shrimp jig head, which you can buy online or in store, wherever you want. So same things, it's the same as the free line, where you have your main line. You can either tie it to a swivel, or you can do a double uni knot, so you can go from your braid to your leader with no swivel no connection there with the swivel. So just braid to mono and knot. And then you can do another 1.5 to 2 foot leader, and then straight to your jig head. So that is a super simple rig as well. That's if you want to fish on the bottom with not having to tie a knocker rig or whatever the case may be. Or let's say you're fishing with artificial and then you wanted to throw a shrimp on, you can use that. So that works really well. And then the next rig is the knocker rig. Let's focus well. So knocker rig is basic as well. Just tie your main line to your leader, and then before you tie your hook on, you add your egg weight or whatever sinker you're using. I use a bead in this case, so it doesn't break the knot or cause some sort of problem there. I think it looks a lot better as well. And then from there you use whatever knot you like. In this case I like using my uni knots. That's my favorite knot of choice. And from the main line, the leader to your hook, just a simple uni knot, and then you're done with that. So it's a super simple rig. You can tie it in like a minute, honestly. Super quick. Just main line to leader, and then from leader you have your weight, a little bead, and then your hook. Super simple, and it's a very effective rig. Inshore, offshore, wherever you're fishing. So for your free line, like I explained earlier, you do your main line to your leader with a double uni knot or a swivel. In my case, I don't really like using swivels when I'm free lining or using artificial or stuff like that, because it can, I don't know, if the fish see it, whatever people say, but I got used to just tying braid to my leader straight with a double uni knot. So braid or main line to your leader, and then your leader straight to your hook. And then if it's either a little deep or the current's moving a little bit too fast, you can add these pinch weights as well. So super simple. This is honestly the easiest rig you can tie. Just main line, leader, hook. And this right here is the hook that I like to use. Let's see if I can focus on it. So this hook right here, I believe it's a 2-watt octopus hook or a beak hook. Some of them are called like that. I don't know this exact name, but I know it's a 2-watt octopus hook, or a size 2 or a size 1 or something like that. I don't know. Oof. So yeah, I believe it's a size 2 or 3 octopus hook. Works super well. I love it for inshore fishing, for whatever it can be. It can be snook, trout, tarpon, mangroves, sheep's head, anything you want to target, I use this hook. So I like it. I like the hook. It's a very thin hook. It pierces through the flesh, the bones, everything super well. In my opinion, it's my favorite. It's the best hook I can use. So super simple, free line. Alright, and then finally we have the Carolina rig, or the fish finder rig, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so the setup for the fish finder rig or the Carolina rig, I usually call it a Carolina rig, but super simple as well. So main line, from your main line you put on your weight. You have a bead here, the bead broke and fell off. Then your swivel, I don't know if that's in focus or not. There you go. So then you have your main line, your weight, your bead, then you have your swivel here, and then on the opposite side of the swivel you tie your leader. And then the leader on the Carolina rig, I usually do a little bit longer. I usually do like 2 to 3 feet. And some species like snapper, mutton snapper, even snook, their eyesight's super keen, so they can really see the line, and sometimes they get super leader shy, so you would have to use a long leader and usually lighter as well. But anyways, you use a 2 to 3 foot leader, and then you go to your hook. In this case I'm using a croaker hook or a wide gap hook, but it works well. Whatever hook works well. Alright, so the Carolina rig's a super good rig. You can tie it super quickly, and it's very effective as well. Those are my favorite rigs for rigging shrimp. There's probably more out there, but those are the easiest, the most basic and common ones, I guess. I'll make some videos later on in the future, probably this week, next week, something like that, hopefully. And I'll show you how to individually tie the Carolina rig, the knocker rig, the free line, the popper, and all of that, like in detail, and like actually tying the knot and everything. I'll make a video as well on the knots that I use, like the double uni knot or regular uni knot, as well as a circle knot. Those are the top 3 knots that I use, technically 2, and then the leader to main line knot. But yeah, those are the knots that I use. Alright, so I'm gonna show you guys how I hook the shrimp onto the hook. In this case I'm using a fake DOA style shrimp, but same, it applies to live shrimp. So alright, so let's say this is a live shrimp. You have your tail, you have your tail, and then you have your head. There's usually two ways to rig it. My favorite way to rig the live shrimp is through the tail on the side or up like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. So you're gonna hook it through the back like 1/4 inch of the tail. So what I'm gonna do is just bring the hook up through the middle. Kind of blocking it, but up through the middle and out the back like that. Don't worry about the jig head, this is just for demonstration purposes, but this is probably my favorite way to rig the hook, the hook on the shrimp. Just out through the back section. So that way when it's in the water and it's moving with the current, or when you're reeling it in, it doesn't do one of this and like start twirling in the water and look super unnatural. Since it's streamlined, it's gonna stay swimming straight back like a normal shrimp, not moving everywhere. Another way you can rig it as well is, instead of through the top portion of the shrimp, you can do it through the side, through right here, and just bring it around like this. So instead of the hook coming out through the top side of the shrimp, it comes out through the side. So those are my two favorite ways to rig shrimp. Another one you can do is through the top where the horn is at. So let's say the horn of the shrimp comes out. So let's say the horn is the head part of the shrimp where the little spike comes out. So you want to hook it under the horn across like this, so the hook comes out from the front. But you have to be careful because shrimp have the brain, or like the vitals of the shrimp, is this little black spot, and if you hook it there, it's going to kill the shrimp. So you have to be careful and hook it in the clear sections of the shrimp. So those are the three ways to hook a live shrimp. But for me, my favorite way is hooking it through the top of the back part of the tail. I always catch fish like that. Also, another way, the last way to rig your shrimp with the jig head, is you cut the tail off. I'm not gonna cut the tail off this shrimp, it's a brand new shrimp, but you cut the tail off and you feed it through like if it was like a swim bait or something, and and the hook goes through and then it comes out the top with the hook, with no hook exposed except for the barb, and then you have your jig head. So when it's sinking, the shrimp sits on the bottom like this with its head in the air, in the water, in like the upper part of the water column. So yeah, those are the most effective ways of rigging shrimp in my opinion. So when I was fishing off the bridge, there's plenty of places you can cast or try to fish. There's structure, then there's the out in the open, and then, well, those are basically the two ones, but you can either fish the structure or you can fish the open water. Some cases I was fishing the structure directly under the bridge and I was catching a couple trout, and most of the other ones are out in the open water on the bottom. So I was using either a knocker rig or the free line rig and letting the shrimp go down and sit on the bottom. So what I'll do, I'll cast out, not too far, I'll cast out, open my bail, let the shrimp go down and drift with the current a little bit, and then I'll just hold my rod and watch, and literally in like 6 seconds you get a bite. I think there's one where I counted, it was like, oh, how many seconds till I get a bite, and instant, it was like 3 seconds or something like that. So yeah, that's how I was fishing it mainly. My dad and his friend, they're fishing out towards under the bridge, because there's the pier and then there's the bridge that goes over. They're fishing in under the bridge. So there you can either fish downward, like let your shrimp go down under the pier where all the structure is at and hook up on fish there, or you can try to cast it out. But I don't think they have that much luck casting out. What is it? What is it? Oh, god damn. Bring it this way. Open your bill.
Oh my god, bro.
Ew, look at his forehead, bro. .61.
7.6. Damn, bro.
Alright, so I almost forgot to make an outro for the video while I was editing. And that little last segment where my dad caught that giant catfish. That catfish was like 2 pounds off the world record. The world record was like 9.4 or something like that. And the catfish that he caught was a 7.6 pound freaking huge gaff top sail catfish, which is kind of not surprising because there's some freaking massive catfish there in Titusville. Alright guys, thank you for watching today's video. If you like the video, you already know, hit that subscribe button, like, hit the bell notification as well so you're notified as soon as I upload new videos. So hopefully I upload a new video later on, maybe this week or next week. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. You better subscribe.